Hi, welcome to How We Met. I'm Sheryl Strich, and every month I get to interview two couples from Laguna Woods who tell their story about how they met. The first couple up today are Fitz Fitzgerald and Jan Levenrod. Both are involved in baby boomers, rock and rollers, RV wheelers, and the Rainbow Club. Fitz is involved in the village squares and pickleball, and you know what? There's a friendly rivalry going on between her and me whenever we play against each other. Jan started Jan's Swim Clinic in 2018. You'll find her at Clubhouse 2 Pool at noon every Tuesday, rain or shine. She's also involved in yoga, art classes, and pickleball. In fact, as my partner in the 2023 Village Games, we won gold.
That's right.
They're both into cycling, going on many multiple sclerosis 100-mile bay-to-bay rides. Fitz volunteers her time at the Pacific Marine Mammal Center doing necropsies. For those who don't know, that's animal autopsies. She's head of the fish crew and is part of the fundraising and outreach. Jan is a competitive swimmer, and she's a member of the Mission Viejo Nadadores. Welcome. That's a lot. Thanks so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I always ask 3 questions, and I prepped you before we came on. The first question is, where are you from?
Who should go first?
Whoever wants. Jan,
Okay,
you go
okay.
first.
I come from Johannesburg in South Africa.
Okay.
I came out here in 1986
To California?
to California.
Okay.
That's where the job was. Well, that's where I got a job.
Is swimming? It's
No. I'm actually, I was qualified as a high school math teacher, math and PE.
Oh, okay.
That was back in South Africa. When I came out to this country, they didn't like my credentials, so I landed up in a private school.
Okay.
And to get a green card, you have to have a job which was similar to the job that you left in your own country,
Right.
and for which an American wouldn't fill.
Right.
And so I landed up teaching in a Jewish day school
Okay.
in the Fairfax area.
Oh, nice.
And
Okay.
yeah, so
Okay.
that's where I started off for the first 8 years.
Okay. Fitz, where are you from?
I am actually from a lot of places. I'm an Air Force brat, so we spent time in Alaska, Texas, DC, Arizona. Arizona was the last place, and that's where I went to college.
Okay. All
But
right.
I won't ever call Arizona home.
Well, I don't think you can when you're an Air Force brat.
Well, we were there longer than any other time,
Right.
and I did most of my schooling there. So.
And I know you were in the Navy working with the Marines, so you must have been traveling stationed in a lot of different places too.
I was constantly deployed.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Next question. How long have you been a couple?
12 years. Actually, we met on the
10th of
December the 10th in 2012.
Okay, we'll get to that. That's an important information that we'll get to in a little while.
Okay.
Okay, and how long have you guys been in the village?
7.5 years.
7. Okay, all right. Now let's get to the question. How'd you meet?
Match.com.
Match.com?
Really?
Seriously.
How does that work?
Well, I know for myself, I come out of a 12-year relationship, and I thought, I'm done with relationships. I need somebody to play with, to go and to movies with, go sailing.
Pickleball.
Pickleball. Well, I didn't know too much about pickleball in those days.
Right. Nobody did.
No, so I thought, well, I've heard about this online stuff. At our age, you don't go to pubs and bars anymore, so, well, you do now that we live here, but that's what we did. And I found a picture of her where she was sailing, and I thought, perfect person to meet.
I also was not looking for a partner, having just come out of a horrible relationship myself. We essentially went online for the same thing. I was looking for somebody to play with.
Right.
Jan was actually out of my age range, because they always ask you what age. Didn't really matter to me. And so I get a text one day through Match.com from this lady who's out of my age range, asking me to not look at her chronological age, but her spiritual age. I am active, I do lots of things, and I'm looking for someone to play with.
Right.
So I wrote back.
Okay.
But then it took us 3 months to actually meet
Okay.
because of our schedules.
Okay, so were you still in the Navy at that point? You
No,
were
I've
retired.
been retired
Okay.
18 years.
Okay, great. All right. So you met, and how does that work? Where did you meet?
Well, we had to set up a date. I was still working,
Yeah.
and she was living with a friend in Long Beach, and I said, well, I'm in the South Bay area, so we met up at the Elephant Bar. I actually
In
remember
Torrance.
that. Can you believe that? Yes, in Torrance.
Okay.
And we met a date, so I met her after work.
Right.
And I'll let her carry on with the story because I didn't realize this, and it was really humorous when she told me.
It's actually kind of funny because she had prepped herself and everything in the car, and I always arrive early. And so I'm watching her prep herself, and the first thing, as an icebreaker, she comes through the door, and I said, "Nice car." And the look on her face, it was like, what did I say? Oh my God. And so I then said, well, shall we go in and have dinner? Oh, no, we're not going to have dinner. Let's just go and have drinks. And again, I'm thinking, what did I say? So we went and we had drinks. And over the next 3 hours, as we sat and talked about everything in the world, we ended up having dinner. And she had to leave because she had dogs that she still had to walk, and it would take her an hour to get home.
Right.
So that's essentially our first meeting.
Right.
I went home, and my friend asked me, so how'd things go? And I said, I really like this gal. And the rest, as they say, is history.
So when did you get together again?
That was now.
It was
that the
about,
motorbike ride?
no, it was about a week later. She invited me to go to the French Quarter in West Hollywood. I'd never been to West Hollywood. So we had breakfast or brunch there, and then she decided she needed to show me all of her hangouts there.
Right.
Of course, the West Hollywood Aquatic Center being the largest hangout area for her. So it was at that point I learned that she was a competitive swimmer. It's a good thing because I'm a nationally certified swim official.
Oh, oh my!
So it goes very well hand in hand.
Have you ever officiated at any of Jan's?
All the time.
Oh, how could you do that and be fair?
Because I don't get to see her.
Oh,
I'm paying attention to what's going on in the pool, and I don't even really know she's swimming.
okay, all right. Because my son was in a swim team, and I had to stand on the edge, and I had to click it, click the timer. And I don't know. Obviously, it was for other children, but I keep looking at my son to make sure he was there first. He doesn't know I did that.
No, I rarely get to officiate the lanes
So you're
she's swimming in.
You're
I
still
am.
doing this?
Yes.
Oh, neat. And you're still swimming?
Oh, yes. I wanted to just back up. The interesting part is she didn't know what she said. But my point is I drive a Mustang. I drove a Mustang then too. And I thought with her opening comment, well, oh, you drive a Mustang. What went through my mind was, oh, she's materialistic. And that was not who I am or what I want. And so that's where that came from.
Right.
It was a nice car.
Oh, that's perfect. All right, so you saw the sights in
In West Hollywood.
West Hollywood, and then
During that brunch, she told me that the two most important days of the year to her are her birthday, which is in July,
Right.
and New Year's Eve.
Okay.
The next thing, I get a phone call about 3 days after our brunch inviting me to New Year's Eve with her best buddies.
Oh.
So no pressure there,
Right.
but I realized I had made an impression.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
And she had, and I had to ensure, when we're younger, we don't think about these things, but it's very important that whoever your partner
Right.
is accepted by your friends and people you care about,
Right.
your family.
Right. Right.
And so I had to ensure that my two friends, two other couples,
Oh, right.
who are very good friends of mine for years now, since I first arrived, liked her.
Right.
And that was the test as far as I was concerned.
I must have passed.
So, and did
Yes.
you just keep seeing each other after the New Year's?
Well, when it was that when she drives up one day, she says, she had a 3-wheel motorbike at the time,
Harley.
a Harley, yes. And she said, I'd like to take you to Solvang. What about it? I said, oh, that would be nice. It was in February at this point, so it was pretty cold, right? And she drove, was that the rainy day first? Or the rainy day came before?
The rainy day was first.
Which was a,
We thought maybe the rain would quit and we could drive up. It didn't quit all day.
So you didn't go in the rainy day?
No.
Okay.
but
But I drove for an hour to her house in the
the
rain and then an hour home after having dried out during the day.
she rocks up.
I guess you
and-
couldn't share clothes at that point.
No. And she was totally dripping. Took her boots off and poured out the water. I thought, you're crazy. Why didn't you just bring the car up over here? Okay, but anyhow, that's what happened. And then that whole day, that's how we got to know each other a lot. We spent the whole day together.
Right, right.
Made lunch and we
Right.
cooked. It was just
Right.
chat, getting to know each other. And then she drove back home in the rain. And this girl
The
is crazy.
following week,
Right.
we went to Ojai on the bike
Okay.
And that in
and
itself.
froze to death coming home.
Literally, because it was one of those things. We went up. It was like we got there about 11 o'clock.
beautiful
We spent-
day.
Beautiful
Oh, it was
day.
gorgeous.
But we then wanted to go have dinner.
Right.
And we went to go book. The dinner was started later. We will stay for dinner, and then we had dinner. But this time it's now 8 o'clock and it's dark and it's cold. And we were dressed in, I don't remember what I had, but whatever the jacket was, it wasn't warm enough. And I'm sitting behind her, holding her hand, using her body to hide myself. And she's frozen.
My hands were frozen by the time, and I had to ask her to help me peel them off.
We got home. So that's
So-
a ride we'll never forget.
What a good start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what a good start. And then did you see each other more often after that?
What happened
Well, you were
was-
living an hour away from each other.
The next thing was I had already planned to go on a timeshare to
Fiji.
To Fiji, a 2-week consecutive 2 weeks,
Right.
and I was going on my own, and I had all my paperwork, all the document, everything out on the table, and
Now, I had decided I was going to volunteer to house sit for her because she had 3 dogs at the
Right,
time.
right.
And I had seen all of the stuff about Fiji.
Right.
So I figured she's going to Fiji. I'll at least volunteer to house sit.
Right.
But then came the phone call.
I called up. I thought, you know what? I like this girl. She's fun. My friends liked her.
Right.
Let's see that next test. Let's see. I like to travel, so let's see if she can travel. Can we travel well together? So I said, I'm going to Fiji, and she said, yes, I know. And she tells me she was going to offer to look after the pups. I said, would you like to come? I've got everything paid for. You'll just have to buy your own ticket, air
Right.
ticket. She said to me, let me think about it. Okay. Then she puts the phone down.
I got off the phone and I went, yes, I'm going to Fiji. Didn't want to seem too anxious. So
And that's the basic story was that we went to Fiji. We had such a time. We actually had the honeymoon before we got married.
That was, he just gave me the 2-minute warning, so we have to speed this up. And I'm sorry because I could
Okay.
go on and on. So then, how soon after that did you get married?
we got married actually August 15th, which was 8 months after we met, 9 months after we met.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
You know what, you guys? I'll have
Yeah.
to see you afterwards so I can get more information from you.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. It was great.
You're very
Thank you
welcome.
very much.
You're very welcome. It's nice that you do this. It's good for the community to see varied couples.
Yes,
And
Yes.
thank you for doing this.
I'm happy that you're here.
Yeah.
Well, our next couple up are Barbara and Don Goldberg. Don and Barbara have been movers and shakers as soon as they moved to Laguna Woods. In 1998, Don started the Silver Fox Band, which is a 10-piece swing band. He was the band leader and the manager for 17 years until they disbanded. This band performed both in and out of the village. He was the president of the New York Club and a Chicago Club board member for the past 25 years, and he just retired. For the last 30 years, he's been an active member of the Bridge Club. He's also tutored third graders at the local elementary school for 10 years, and he was a fabric artist selling many of his works locally. Barbara founded the Barbara Club in 2004, and she continues to organize their monthly meetings up until today. She's been an active member of the Laguna Woods Senior Clown Alley since 2003, and she's a lifelong artist creating glassworks. In addition to all of this, for 50 years, Barbara was a lecturer for Weight Watchers. Welcome to my show. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm really glad you could make it. I always ask 3 questions, and the first question is not too hard. It's where you're from. Why don't you go first, Don?
We're from Philadelphia.
Oh, okay.
Both of us were born and raised in Philadelphia.
Okay.
And
Barbara, when did you decide to come to California?
We decided to come when our son was living here already. When did we come exactly?
we actually came here the first time in 1992.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
Our son my son's a physician,
Okay.
and he had bought a practice in Laguna Beach.
Okay.
So we wanted to be near him.
Okay. How long, this is a test question, how long have you been a couple?
72 years we're married.
Okay.
We've been a couple for about 75 years.
75 years.
Yes.
You win the gold medal here. And how long have you been in Laguna Woods?
We lived in Laguna Woods for 30 years.
30 years.
Yes.
Ah, okay. All right. Now we can get to business. How did you meet?
Well, I dated a girl who rejected me and left me for a trumpet player.
A trumpet player?
Yes.
What instrument did you
It was
play?
a friend of mine who played the trumpet, and she liked him. So anyhow, she put me on to her cousin, who was Barbara. And I called Barbara, and I said we should get together. And Barbara suggested that I come over with a couple of my boyfriends, and she would have a couple of her girlfriends. And so that's what we did. We went down to our recreation room. I played my ukulele for them, and then I didn't call her for 6 months.
You didn't call her for 6 months?
No, and then after 6 months, I needed a date, and I called Barbara, and then the rest is history.
So you met him, and he didn't call you for 6 months. What
That's
did you
right.
think? What did you think?
Well, I didn't think that much about it because, it was okay.
And then he called you 6 months later.
That's right.
And did you give him a hard time?
Not really. Did I give you a hard time?
You've never given me a hard time.
All right. So you went. Where did you go on this date?
Oh, I haven't got the vaguest idea.
I don't remember either.
It was only 75 years, you know. All right. So you went out, and then did you? After the date, how soon did you get in touch with each other? Well, I guess at that time you would have gotten in touch with Barbara.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. We just started to go together, and we eventually got engaged. And I went out and with
Really?
Barbara. I bought a house before we were married.
Oh,
Yeah.
in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, okay.
And I guess at that time I was different than most kids my age because I had a car, I had my own business.
What was your business?
I was a sewing machine repairman.
Oh, that must have been big money at that time.
Well,
Or big business at
It
that
was a
time.
living, and that's I did well, and I had some money in the bank, and
And a car and a house.
I had a car and a house and,
Yeah.
and a new wife.
And a new one. So I've been told that your wedding was a little different than most weddings.
Yes, it was.
Why don't you tell me about it?
It was a double wedding with my sister. We both got married together, and it was very big because we had 3 families there.
3 families. Oh, yes, okay.
3 families. So it was a very big wedding.
And you were able to find a place to put everybody, to have a big wedding.
Yeah,
It was hundreds of people.
Wow.
I think we had like 300 people.
Were your friends the musicians?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
You had real professional guys at the
Yeah,
wedding.
we had a professional.
Did you and your sister buy the same dress, or how did that work? How did you?
The wedding, the wedding gowns,
Yeah.
this is an interesting story. My mother had a friend who rented wedding gowns and tuxedos.
Oh.
So she got new ones for us that she afterwards rented out.
Right.
So actually, we never kept our wedding gowns.
So how did it work? Did you get married first, and then she
Yeah,
got
I
married
did.
after?
Yes,
So once you were done, then she started.
yes,
How interesting.
yes.
But you were first.
Yeah, I was first because I was older. My sister's 20 months younger than me.
Did you propose first? Were you engaged first?
I don't remember who was first.
I don't know when she asked me to marry her.
How soon after that did Terry come along?
Couple years.
A couple of years.
Yes.
Okay. So you had time to go for a honeymoon?
We went to Miami Beach. I wanted to fly down, but her mother and father insisted that we don't go on an airplane, so we took a
train.
down to Miami Beach.
It took 24 hours from the train.
We didn't have a reservation, so the cab driver took us to a hotel, probably got paid off, and we had a very, very nice honeymoon there.
Yes.
A little hotel on the beach,
Right.
and it was just fine.
Were you in the Army or
I was in the Navy in World War II, at the end of World War II.
So, okay, so you got married afterwards, because
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
your anniversary is the same year as my birth year.
Oh,
So that's how I know right away how many years you've been married.
wow.
So you were in the Navy during World War II.
At the very end of World War II, yes.
So you were able to get the GI Bill to buy a house.
I was.
Yes.
I was.
Very fortunate. Well,
But I didn't buy the house on the GI.
oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh.
The house was $9,999. And I think I had to put $900 down.
Right.
And that's what I did. And we had a mortgage, and we eventually paid it off.
If the house is still standing, I would be really curious what it's worth now.
Yes.
But they
So
sell-
would I.
Yeah.
Well, it was
Which
a
you could
row
have had.
house, if
It
you
was
know
a
what a
row-
row
Yes,
house is.
yes, yes. How long did you live there?
We lived there 9 years, and then we moved to Horston Lane.
Yes, we moved to Harston Lane.
Is-
We moved out of the city
Yeah.
to the next township,
Okay,
which was just a couple blocks away.
okay.
And we bought a house on the corner of a street, had a nice lawn, and it was a freestanding house,
Right,
and
right.
it had a garage,
Right, right.
and it was in a nice neighborhood. And
Isn't it amazing how a few blocks can make a
Yes.
huge difference in where
Yes.
you
Yes.
in the kind of place you're
and
going to live
we
in?
moved there because of the school district
Right.
was much better than
Right, right.
the school district
Right.
that we were in, and Cherry was going to go into first grade, I believe.
Right, right. We do everything for our kids, don't we?
Yeah,
Yes, we
We
do.
do.
We make all these sacrifices for them.
Well, it pays off because they make sacrifices for us when we get older.
That's true. That's true. So you moved to Laguna Woods. Okay, so you moved to Laguna Woods because your son had a practice in Laguna Beach,
That's right.
right? And you came off running from from the few things that Terry sent to me about what you've been doing here. How do you like it here?
I think this is the greatest place in the world to live in.
Right.
And you might be interested in this. I was at the golf course, and I met this camera crew, and I asked them what they were doing here, and they were Israelis, and they were film retirement communities all over the world.
Oh.
And they were here in Leisure World at
Right,
that time.
right, right.
So I invited them to come to my house so that they could see how we lived.
Right.
And about a year later, I was sitting in the Chicago Club waiting for the meeting to start, and a woman came over to me and she said, I saw you on television in Israel
In Israel.
last week.
How neat. And she saw your house.
Yeah, I thought that was very funny.
That's great.
But Barbara has been the most active person that you would ever want to meet. She would do so many things in one day that it just boggled my mind. I'm a one thing a day person, and she's as much as she can do.
Barbara, how many members are in the Barbara Club?
I have 70 members on my list that live in Laguna Woods, whose name is Barbara.
And there are more who aren't in your club.
Pardon me?
There are more who are not in your club.
That's true.
Right.
There are more.
And you're you're still an active clown, right?
Yes, I am.
What is your clown name?
Dotsy,
Dotsy.
because I have dots all over my clown outfit.
And you've been a clown for
About 20 years.
20 years. Wonderful. You guys are really taking advantage of Laguna Woods. So when you were in Philadelphia, did you have these kind of opportunities to? You were a lecturer for Weight Watchers.
Yes.
But what else did you do in Philadelphia? What other activities besides working?
What did we do? What else did we do?
Did you play bridge?
No,
No.
we did that. When we came here, we went to a beginner's class,
Okay.
and it's become an important thing in our lives
Yes, it has.
because we met a lot of our friends through bridge, and we still have friends twice a month who we play with in our homes.
Right.
And I go to bridge 4 times a week at the bridge club.
Ah, okay.
And
It's a lovely facility.
yes,
Oh,
it
yeah.
is.
It's really a lovely facility.
And I'm very proud that I was on that committee to help build it.
Oh, did you? Were you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, well, you did a good job.
Well, we were in a bridge room underneath a swimming pool.
Right.
And it was moldy and it was horrible.
Right.
And it took us 3 years to get that building built.
Was it difficult to get the idea across that this was something that was needed?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so nothing changes here.
No, nothing does, except a monthly fee.
I just got the 2-minute warning, so I'm going to have to wrap it up real soon. Is there anything else that you want to tell me? Because you have a lot to tell.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that being married to this lady for so long has been a wonderful experience for me. I am an uneducated, unsophisticated person, and I married this wonderful, beautiful, educated, and sophisticated person, and she has helped me through my trials and tribulations, and I love her very much, and I'm grateful that we've had this wonderful, wonderful marriage, and we've been together for so many years.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful? Thank you so much.
I think that's a great ending for this interview. That is wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on. This was really lovely.
Thank you very much for
We're
inviting us.
Thanks for having us. We're very happy about that.
If you'd like to come on to the show, email us at lwvcouples@gmail.com. Include your name, phone number, and email address, and brief description of your story.